All right, so the latest rumors that are circulating is that Harry is actually still in the UK. He's hiding out. And Meghan is holed up in that McMansion in Montecito. She's plotting away. Plotting what, though, we don't really know. Is it something for Netflix? Is it something for Spotify? Or could it be a book of her very own? So apparently, Harry is hardly even going to be seen at the coronation. He's going to be ushered in, he's going to sit down, and then he'll be ushered right out. He won't get to go any parties or anything like that. He's not going to be allowed to get near anybody. This is not a social gathering for him. Every detail is just that, a detail. So if it's true that Meghan and Harry really are getting divorced, the first thing I would expect to come out is proof that those children are real. They've got to do a DNA test. I mean, does anybody believe either child even has a passport? So apparently Harry is planning to go right home to the UK. He's going to have some small apartment in the palace away from everybody because, of course, he cannot be trusted. He's going to be shunned by his entire family as well as the people of the UK. But that's his own fault because he himself has proven that he's a traitor. And as for the invisible children, well, I would assume they're just going to go right back to their birth mothers. I don't know. We've got to find out the truth about them. I mean, who would want them if they are real? What, is Doria somehow going to be responsible for them? Doria the drug dealer? Or what about Harry the drug addict and liar? Or Meghan the drug addict, also a liar? Neither of them has any parenting skills. They also don't have the time, the patience, or the life to raise somebody else's children. Anyway, I guess it really depends on who's going to pay child support and who gets custody. They cannot hide these children forever, though, or in the case of Meghan, just hope that everybody forgets about them. Not unless hell freezes over, that is. I don't think anybody in the royal family, though, is going to step up to raise those kids. So in court, proof needs to be established of the fake children. We've got to know, are they really even Meghan and Harry's? Are they even real at all? Nobody in the royal family is going to pay for Harry's mistakes at this point. He has done too much. I don't even know if Harry's going to ask for money. He's going to get an inheritance allowance that is controlled by his Auntie Anne. So we have the delusional prince, except the entire world knows about who Meghan really is. She's not going to be able to get away with lying in court. And I suspect that a prenup was signed, with and without children. Reportedly, Harry has hired the top woman lawyer in the UK, and she also might still be Williams, so if she tries blackmail, Meghan would be charged. I think it's important to just sell the house and pay off the creditors and any debt, and there will be nothing left. I know about the 50-50 rule in California, but then we've got to consider the fake companies in Delaware. Could there be any real money there? Apparently, Archewell is being investigated for money laundering. I do wonder how much of that money Meghan has already taken and hidden away in some kind of offshore account or in her mother's account. Subpoenas can easily be issued. Bank records, holdings, everything. I think it's going to get pretty ugly. What it all boils down to is how much money is left over. I'm guessing Harry won't take any. There will be alimony for Meghan. I mean, she worked and she's still working. Can she even claim, though, that she got used to a certain lifestyle thanks to Harry? She can certainly try, but it's all going to depend on who has the best lawyer, who wants all of their dirty laundry aired in public. Now, this is what Meghan is used to. This is her way of life. She knows how to speed dial the paps. But if she is the one who decides to put all the dirty details of this divorce in the public sphere, then she has to realize all of her lies are going to come out too. I don't think Harry really cares. He experiences most of his emotional turmoil in his therapist chair, which is not doing a great job on Harry, if you ask me. So I think it all boils down to this. It could be a pretty interesting situation when it comes to the kids. If they really used a surrogate and they don't have any of Meghan's DNA, then technically they're not her kids. Now, of course, that's if they even exist at all, considering that there are no hospital records or signed birth certificates for either of the kids. I think after the divorce, Harry should write a book detailing what it was really like to live with Meghan Markle. The book can explain all the information about the fake kids, the awards they bought, and all of Meghan's other stupid antics. I think that book would certainly be a #1 bestseller. I know I would buy it. I've even got an idea for a title. I Survived the Monster Meghan Markle. I also think that one of the biggest things Meghan is going to have been doing, which is going to mess her up and prove to Harry and the world that it was always just a con and that she never even loved him, is that she's going to have been siphoning off their money into separate accounts for herself for quite a long time, probably even years. Because they do have a joint account, and Meghan's going to struggle to try to cover up that information. And I'm sure Doria's dirty hands are going to be all over it. Harry's just too dumb to have noticed. Not that I have any sympathy for him, but still. So it looks like to me watching this divorce is going to be our reward for having had to watch their lying criminal charity theft BS seemingly go unpunished for such a long time. Meghan's life is going to get pretty difficult. A political career is not in her future. Hopefully she will disappear eventually, and they'll probably find her in a gutter in Las Vegas somewhere in about 10 years looking like she's about 60. It has been reported that Doria has about $9 million in her bank account. So I'm sure that money came from Meghan because Doria is her accomplice after all. Now, supposedly, Oprah arranged it for the interview of a lifetime, but she was also used by that grifter and her criminal mother, and Oprah's reputation took a pretty big hit as a result. I doubt Meghan has any intentions of moving on until she finds another idiot who's going to give her unlimited funds in exchange for a fantastic life. She's a gold digger, and she's not even ashamed of that. Perhaps Harry will leave her with no choice and just tell her to get out. I guess it depends on who calls the police on whom. But I don't believe Harry is going to accept being stuck in a dark corner forever. He's going to expect to be back like he was before with all the bells and whistles. But unfortunately, he's not going to be accepted as representing any of the services. He has completely burned his bridges there. Harry's got no real skills. He's very lazy, but he's going to have to figure out something he can do for work. There simply is not enough money in King Charles's plans to pay Harry's way. Maybe he can go to Africa. He does love the place after all. Maybe they'll let him do something to help take care of the elephants. But let's remember, when Harry was sent to Peru years ago, he hated it. He wanted the girls, he wanted to be living the high life, and he wanted all the drugs. If he comes back, he is going to be a real problem. And I guess his father doesn't have any idea how difficult he's going to be. But if he's fortunate enough to get the right meds and the right kind of therapy, I think that eventually he will come to accept the reality of all the damage that he did. And that will be a very difficult thing to deal with, but one that he's got to accept. But there's one thing that is different. I don't believe that house is going to sell. They have put so much money into the plumbing, and it's in the wetlands, and everybody knows that. Meghan just never got anybody to come in and do a real inspection, which was a huge mistake. And if the invisible children really don't exist at all, then I would guess they're going to be facing fraud charges. I mean, who made up the various birth certificates, not to mention signed as witnesses on documents? Is there any liability for those supposed friends who let their kids be used for photos in order to assist the fraud? On Twitter, there were worldwide instructions for sending birthday gifts and various donation sites. So might that qualify as an international crime? Who, after all, got those gifts? I also researched their $30 million deal with Spotify, for which the two of them didn't really produce any content for streaming in 2021. So, Spotify took the project into its own hands, and they started facilitating productions for them by hiring a raft of in-house talent on Spotify's side. They were just hoping they could squeeze something out of the two of them. The article mentioned a few projections. I haven't been able to confirm if those projects were finished and whether or not Meghan and Harry are still working for and with Spotify. Let's just hope they release it soon and put us all out of our misery when it comes to Meghan. But with all the fuss that's been happening lately over will they and won't they attend the coronation, I'm not sure. Harry is also still pursuing his various legal actions. If all of this were just happening in the background, well, all right, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think they're going to stay together at all, but this is just speculation. We know that for Meghan Markle, publicity equals oxygen, and that's why they dragged out their invitation response for months. They were the ones who wanted all the drama to continue. The royal family has known the final outcome for a while, other than whether or not Harry would come on his own. Anyway, I just hope that Harry can get himself together for his father's coronation and not show up all drunk and high.